Hello, and welcome to another episode of eBay Scavengers. I'm Mikey, and with me this week is my partner, Wendy.
Hi.
And this week, we are going to talk about what's going on in our store. This is episode 41. We had a big ticket item. Such a big ticket that, all our friends on our eBay mailing list were like, oh my god, I can't believe you sold that.
I can't believe we found it in our neighborhood, which is quite impoverished. So what we found was a new in-box Louis Vuitton wallet that was very current, very modern.
Right, so we picked it up for $25. We talked about this before, and it sold for $1,100 on best offer. And we were like, yes, because we could have really used the money this week.
We were like, yes, but when are they going to pay?
Yeah, so I looked up the buyer. He had a feedback score of 5, which means he's only had 5 positive feedbacks in his whole eBay career. So this is not a good sign to start with, especially for such an expensive item.
Needless to say, the buyer realized, or maybe that's what they tell us, I think that's not a men's wallet. It's a woman's wallet, which anyone could have told you from the start. Anyway, we didn't give him our time. We let him out because we know we're going to resell it because we had gazillions of offers, but we had set the buy it now offer response system to not tell us unless the offer was, I think, over $1,000.
Yeah, we had utter decline at 1,000.
Yeah.
So we were getting offers for 500 and 800. So the bummer about this is we did not collect. We had to cancel the transaction. It took several days to even reach the buyer so that he would just confirm the cancellation, and it's listed again. So hopefully we'll sell it this week.
And we already have watchers. Oh, there's no question.
Yeah.
And that reminds me, the reason there's no question we're going to sell it is it's a new in-box item. It's a Louis Vuitton, and September really does begin Christmas buying season, which is why I have been listing as if the world depended on it. So yesterday I listed, I think, 40 or so items.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, because Wendy lists alone. I don't help her in any part of it. And so she was weighing, measuring, cleaning, and really just tore through an inventory of stuff we picked up.
I do like to list alone, but I like when you're in the room also listing.
Yeah.
Not listing my things, just in the room.
Yeah, maybe our listeners can comment on this, but one of our big problems with listing at the same time is we both need Terapeak at the same time, and we can't easily share it. So that means the other person has to be doing photographs or cleaning or kind of other prep work, but you can't just be looking up the price of every item.
I gotta say, though, our guest today, Ben, is going to tell us about how he doesn't use Terapeak because he says that eBay gives you 90 days of view. And it's redundant, and I want to see what he's talking about and if there's truth in that. And also, he did express just the one limitation that it's hard to see unless you're on the site. So if you're at a yard sale and you want to look something up, you actually have to go to the eBay website, which is cumbersome.
Well, that alone's a huge limitation because I want to know the sell-through rate.
Right. You want that stats.
And I want to see them organized top to bottom. What's the top dollar you can expect and adjust the ranges. And
yeah, we're not going to get that. But anyway, that's a side note. We'll come back to that later.
So I want to back up a little bit, back to our no pays this week, because we had the wallet guy who didn't pay. Had to cancel. But the other one is we had a best offer on a vintage camera, and the best offer came in higher than we were asking for. So this happens occasionally. You list an item for $60 and someone comes in and offers $70.
And what do you think we said to that offer?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
I'll take it. And of course they didn't pay. And, invoiced them several times, and eventually the auto collector just kind of canceled out the transaction. Finally, that was it for our no pays this week, but we also had a bunch of returns this week, which is always a bummer. And I just want to mention some of the returns because they were all our fault. And, it's nice to blame some of the returns on the customers, but these are things that we had screwed up on. So our big item return was a vest. It went for over $100. And when the person got it, they said, hey, this isn't in new condition, which we had it listed as, which is a huge mistake. Almost nothing we have is ever in new condition.
Yeah. Well, I want to say, too, that these items that were not listed properly, they were when we were new at this. So we were not the seasoned eBayers we are now, and we were just starting out, and we just didn't realize.
Right.
Yeah.
So the vest had, actually some wear to it, different areas where things weren't sewn well, and we're going to have to redescribe it, lower the price, and move it again. And I'm not worried about selling it, and there was nothing wrong with the transaction, but that was a mistake on our part, having it listed as new.
It definitely was.
Another thing, we got some Adobe software return. I sold a CD, like Illustrator or something like that, and you get like $30, $40 for these CDs, but I didn't say which version of Mac it was for. So this was an old version for like PowerPC Macs only.
Oh boy.
And of course, the person couldn't run on their newer Mac at this point, and not what they wanted. So again, a screw up on my part. And then finally, I had a knife, and this happens to me a lot actually when I'm bulk listing knives and stuff. I had a different measurement in the subject line than in the body of the message. So one of them was correct.
Mistake, yeah.
And actually, you can tell by the photos because I have a measuring tape against the knife, and I like to include that in any photo so people can really see what the measurement is from the knife blade to the knife handle, and there's no real interpretation on my part, because sometimes people argue with you over a 1/4 inch difference.
Right, but it sounds like they just read the headline and didn't check it or whatever.
Yeah, and I don't remember which one was right. I think the headline was right and the body was wrong. Anyway, so this person got a knife that was the wrong size for them, and they're going to send it back. And
our mistake.
Yep, our mistake.
I don't want to miss the irony of the wallet situation before we move on to other things this week. Mikey pointed out to me this morning how funny and ironic it was that the person... Well, let's go to what happened next with the wallet, right? So the part 2 of the story is we relisted the wallet and someone else wants to buy it, which we knew would happen, but they want financing. They want to pay it off.
They want to do multiple payments to us. And really, we don't have a way directly to manage that with an eBayer. So my response to them was, look, we can use this new PayPal feature that they've been really pushing hard on called Bill Me Later. And basically on checkout on eBay, instead of just paying in full, you can hit Bill Me Later, and they can pay partial amounts. And I think they get 6 months no interest.
And we're not the bank. PayPal is the bank.
Yep.
We get paid right away.
Exactly.
But so the irony and the funny part of the story is that people in this world are trying to buy $1,300 wallets to put their not money that they don't have in, that they can't afford, and are taking a loan to buy. And this is worse than hoarding. This is madness.
And really, like, what even makes this wallet valuable in the first place? I mean, this is like, it almost feels like this pleathery thing. Is it well made? I mean, maybe.
Who knows?
Is it better made than a $30 wallet? I don't know.
I don't think so.
So the brand loyalty and respect that Louis Vuitton commands is just ridiculous.
I think it's really the social pressure. Oh my God. Anyway, I just felt so bad for this person who's going to have an empty Louis Vuitton wallet and a bank debt.
Yeah. But on the same note, so I actually spoke with PayPal this week. They were really aggressive about contacting us about Bill Me Later. They called me on the phone multiple times. Eventually they got me on the phone. They sent multiple emails, and they were really pushing Bill Me Later, and I can see why, because people won't pay it off in 6 months. They will pay some crazy interest rate after that.
And even if they fail, that becomes something they sell, that debt, to other companies. It's all very insidious.
Yeah, so I don't really want to promote that stuff, but it's out there. Anyway, so I want to mention a yard sale technique that we haven't been doing, but we used to do a little more when we were more excited about yard sales, and maybe we'll go back to doing this because I kind of liked it, and that is what I call the sweeper. So there's 2 types of yard salers in my mind. There's the kind that get up at 7 in the morning, 6:30, 6.
First one there.
Yeah, they might show up with flashlights if it's the darker time of year. They're just so aggressive, and they want to be the first. They want to see the inventory before anyone out. I'd say the skiing equivalent is first tracks. They just got to be the first one there at every sale. And, there's something you can get. If there's a good yard sale, you could pick up some great stuff by being first. And I think the downside of that is you're torturing people. You're torturing the yard sale people. You're torturing the other yard salers. It becomes this arms race to get up as early as possible and be the first one at the yard sale. And we are somewhere close to that. We're not the first, but we are in the top 10 at most yard sales.
You and I have this polite thing we do, which is if it says it starts at 8, we're there at 8.
Well, sometimes. But if we happen to go to a 7 o'clock and then we're cruising and waiting for an 8, we'll show up.
We'll check, but we don't push the door.
Yeah.
We're not those people.
We're not as aggressive, but we still get to sales relatively early. But I just want to point out that there is the sweeper technique, which is
late.
Yeah. Instead of going out at 7 a.m., consider going out at 9.
Or noon.
And maybe multiple trips out. But the idea is that there's a lot of yard sales that won't be listed and are just going to pop up throughout Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And if you go out later in the day, you can start picking up these sales that have popped up and weren't listed, and there won't be a lot of people coming to them. They're not in the papers, not on Craigslist. The other thing is sales get a little more desperate later in the day to just move it, just to get the stuff out. So, by Sunday afternoon, if we were to go out and do a sweep around, which we should because that's what time it is right now, you can pick up some good stuff where people are just unloading. It's going to the dumpster if no one's taking it, So,
did you come up with that name, sweeper?
Well, I did, but
I knew it.
But I'm open to other names.
You always come up. No, because you always come up with great names for things. Sweeper is very good.
Yeah. So use the sweeper technique to catch the pop-ups, which is also my term.
Also your term.
But
you really should have been in marketing.
Yeah. So anyway, I've been talking to other eBayers who are just sweeper based, and I realized they're hitting 2 or 3 times the yard sales that we're hitting. And I kind of don't want to be that rushed in the morning. Like, I'd rather enjoy my coffee and walk the dog and then go out, or maybe pack some eBay stuff.
We live in a hot area. It's cooler in the morning. I don't know.
We're getting into better weather. It's the end of summer.
Coming up with a new fetish.
Oh, right. I just wanted to use the term sweeper all the time.
Yeah. So let's talk about that funny moment that was so not funny, where we were about to go to bed, and you just, I don't know, had to get your new iPhone cover, which you had just gotten the day before, off your phone right then and there. No waiting. Can't go to bed. I said, give it to me. I'll help you. Don't struggle. Give it to me. And you said, no. And you tore at that thing. And then, boom, the phone popped from your hand, landed on the ground in such a way that it shattered the screen.
Right. So we live off our iPhones. I mean, we really depend on them for all of our eBay stuff and really our other businesses and transactions. So to be without a phone fully functional for just even a day is really kind of miserable. So like Wendy said, I broke my iPhone trying to ironically remove a case from it, and it fell out and fell on the ground. And I had to get a replacement right away. So the next morning I went out, and it actually took me 5 trips to the same store because of...
You need this piece of paper, you need this social security number, you need this,
my
you
God.
need that.
You'd think I was like applying for citizenship. But I'm thankful that my town even had the phone and I could get it the same day within a few hours, because otherwise it would have been like a trip to another city. So I got a new phone and I'm back up and running. But here's what's interesting. I bought an iPhone 5. I was coming from a 4S. I qualified for the discount, so I didn't have to pay full price for the phone. So it ended up being like $200. And when I went to list my old phone, right, you're going to list your old one that's broken.
Yeah.
I put it up on eBay for $300. So my old phone with a broken screen is going to, I'm pretty sure, sell for significantly more than my new phone
cost.
So
now, I agree with you. This is a lovely way to feel good about the whoops-a-daisy. The truth is, you could have just spent $200 and not had a broken other phone.
Yeah. Well, for me, the lesson is don't use cases. I never use cases on my phone. I tried to put one on, and I realized why I don't use cases, because nothing fits in them anymore. You can't use any adapters. You can't plug anything in. I was just trying to charge my phone for the night, and that's when it fell out. Because I had a docking cradle. So, anyway, I'm case free with a new phone.
This is like the saga that follows the flood.
Yeah,
things are getting better.
All right, so I want to close up this episode of what's happening in our store this week with your auctions. Wendy has been getting into auctions lately, and I want her to talk about a shirt she's thrown up and some other items.
So we've been really disagreeing, Mikey and I, about auctions. I know Ryan occasionally uses auctions, and I'm like using them in a strange way. When I have an item that might have fanship or, real collector interest, and I don't know for sure, there's really no skin off my back to let a 7-day auction run and see what happens. And After that auction, if I don't get what I want from it, like on one item I put a reserve, it's no big deal. I'll just come back the following week and put it in with a buy it now price that I believe in. But having run the auction, it helps me find a buy it now price that I believe in on an item where the data is all over the place and I can't make sense of it, and I don't know where my item fits in the scheme of things in terms of its value. So I did this with a indigenous textile, very vintage indigenous textile. I did it this week with a bell, a bicycle bell, because I couldn't believe I saw one in Terapeak, just like mine, that sold for $75. Right. And I was like, what? But then again, a whole bunch sold for $22. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to let the market decide. Threw it up as an auction. Did the same thing with a hard-to-come-by vintage pin for a rock band. So we'll see.
So I guess the reason that I'm always reluctant around the auction setup is I found it really distracting. When Wendy ran a textile, the indigenous textile shirt for a week, I found that we were getting a lot of alerts on items. So every time someone bid on it, we'd get an alert. Now I think that's something I can turn off in our settings, but that's like the last thing I want to hear about is all the bids going on for this type of item. The other thing is we were getting emails from people, and there's a certain amount of like frantic intensity around a 7-day auction. So when someone writes you about an item that's only up for 7 days and other people are bidding against them, they not only expect an immediate response, but they also get kind of like long-winded and more detailed and have this higher expectation that doesn't come out of the buy it now interactions. So
you're very sensitive.
Yeah.
You really
I am sensitive. Well,
I know.
People are reaching out to me through the ether trying to poke me and tell me that they bid on something that I don't care about.
Yeah. You can just ignore them.
Yeah. And finally, I think the real killer for auctions, and this is, I believe, why Jay and Ryan have kind of backed away from them again, is no pay. You know, the auction closes, the price is there, people
that
don't
is
pay.
Craziness. Yeah. But I think, get what I want, which is I want the market to tell me the value.
Yeah. So we'll see how the next few auctions go, if you want to continue doing this.
Yeah, I probably won't, but for an occasional thing like I'm doing now, whatever. I just wanted to try it.
Yeah. So that's it for episode 41, what's happening in our store this week. And Wendy can tell you a little bit about episode 42 that's also coming out.
Yeah, so the next episode features an old friend of mine, Ben, who lives down in New Orleans, and his brand new store and his experiences as a new seller in a place that has some good stuff. And, I would put him on the list of folks that have discovered that eBay can be a real support in your life when you need cash between transitions. And, so we're going to welcome Ben in just a few minutes. And thanks, as always, for listening.